Hey everybody, it's me again. This week I want you guys to draw your favorite task. So we're going to go over the different tasks we learned about, and I want to see those beautiful drawings, and I'm hoping one of your parents can take a photo and post it on Facebook or email me a copy of the photo. So the first task we learned about was the man-eating lion. Now, let me get this up here. Heracles was given the task of getting this man-eating lion out of the way. Now, this man-eating lion was enormous. He was killing people, he was eating them. So Heracles went to get this lion. Now, when he first threw a spear at it, the spear bounced off the lion's skin. And he goes, well, let me try something else. So he used a sword and it bounced off the lion's skin again. So he had to figure out a way to get this lion. And what he ended up doing was wrestling the lion. And he finally wrestled it, and he finally killed it. And then he said to himself, you know, this skin is so strong, I think I need to take it with me to protect myself later. So that's what he did. And we're going to hear about that skin in a later task. So the next task we learned about was the 9-headed Hydra. So the Hydra had these heads, and every time you cut one off, more would grow up. Heracles took his nephew with him, and because he knew he was going to need help with this. So he's fighting this Hydra, he's cutting off its head, and then he realizes, I need to stop these heads from coming up. So he gets his nephew to light a branch, and the nephew brings him the branch, and every time he cuts off a head, he uses the branch and the fire to stop it from growing another head. And eventually, he gets all the heads off and he kills the Hydra. Now, the Hydra had poisoned blood. So Heracles said to himself, you know what? I better get some of that blood on the tips of my arrows, which he did. And later on, those arrows were used for another task. So our next task we learned about was the Stymphalian Birds. Here's some photos of them. Okay, the Stymphalian Birds were eating people, I believe. Yes, they're eating people. And they were made out of metal, and they were very hard to kill. So Heracles was trying to figure this out. He was trying to figure out how he was going to get these birds up in the air so he could shoot them with his poison arrows. And Athena, who's helped him a lot of times, gave him this rattle. And what he did was the birds were all in one spot on the ground, and he rattled the rattle, and it scared them, and they flew up in the air, and they're all spread out. So he was able to use his arrows to shoot them, and he killed all these different birds. Okay? Now, our next task was the Great Bull of Crete. Now, Heracles was not supposed to kill this bull. He was supposed to bring it back to the king. But this bull was enormous. It was really, really big and really, really dangerous. So Heracles put the skin of the lion on. And he did that. And then as the bull came towards him, he grabbed a horn and he jumped up on top of it. And he rode the bull until the bull was so tired, it just gave up. And Heracles took the bull to the king, and the king was so scared, he jumped in his golden pot. Now, the next one we learned about was the stag with golden antlers, which I told you very recently. So, the stag with golden antlers was was a task for Heracles. And what he had to do is he took a whole year to get to this stag. He was chasing it, he was trying to find it. Finally, he found the stag. Now, he was supposed to bring back the stag to the king, all safe. And that's what he ended up doing. But when he got into the forest and saw the stag, Artemis was there. Artemis was the protector of the stag. And Heracles said to her, I'm going to take the stag. I'm going to be very careful with the stag. And I'll make sure I bring it back to you, but I need to bring it to the king to show him that I've caught the stag, which is what he did. So he caught the stag, threw a net over it, was very gentle with it, and brought it back to the king. Now, our next task we learned about, let's see here, was the Augean stables. So this is the task where Heracles had to use his brain and his strength. And what he did was he found these stables were really, really filthy, and he did not have enough strength to get them all cleaned out. So he had to think about it, went down to the river, built a dam, dug a trench all the way up to the stables, let the water loose, it cleaned out the stables, and he accomplished his task with his brain and his strength. Now, the next one we learned about was the golden apples, which is the last one you just recently learned about. The golden apples were at the end of the earth. Now, Athena had to help Heracles this time as well. He asked her where was this place, and she told him where it was. And he went there, and he talked to Atlas, and Atlas said, you're going to need to kill this dragon, and then I can go down and pick the apples because no one else can pick those apples. In the meantime, Heracles, I need you to hold up the sky. So he holds up the sky. Actually, he kills the dragon. He goes and holds up the sky. Atlas goes down and picks the apples, and he comes back. He tries to trick Heracles into holding up the sky, but Heracles does not fall for it. So now, this week, what I want you to do is I want you to draw your favorite task. And if you have more than one favorite task, I want you to draw that. And once you're done with that, I want you to have your parent take a photo of it, and they can either email it to me or they can directly post it to Facebook. I can post it to Facebook if you want, if you're okay with that. But I'm really looking forward to your drawings. Next week, we're going to learn about a new hero, and his name is Jason. And Jason was pretty cool. He went on this really long journey to find this thing that he needed to find in order to become king. So next week, look forward to Jason. And I really miss you guys. I'm really glad we can see each other via YouTube. And bye-bye.